Hello, this is Mercy. Thank you again for tuning in to my channel. As always, I'm sorry that it's been a while out here. It's been crazy couple of weeks for me, work and all, but I'm here now, and I'm so happy to be right here with you. Okay, hi. Yes, so today I want to speak on a topic that I have wanted to talk about for a really long time, but I wasn't able to talk about it because of issues with time and all that. So I want to speak on a topic which I titled "When God Goes Dark." When God goes dark. So what do I mean by that when I say when God goes dark? So what I'm saying is I'm talking about a certain aspect of our life, or for those of us that are believers, a certain time of our life or aspect of our lives where we think that, where we feel this God's silence, where we feel this like it's just silent, like we can't hear him anymore, or some things are not just going well, and we really want him to talk to us right now. We really want him to say something to us, but we can't really hear. So it's like when God is silent. That's what I mean by when God goes dark. Like when it's as though he's in a dark corner where there's a light we're trying to put on, the light we're trying to put on, but everywhere it's still dark. So he's like he just left us, like he's not there. So what happens in this period? Because from experience I can say that as a believer, or as someone who believes in God and all, that there are times in our life where we are faced with such time, where we are faced with such period where God is as though he's far away, like he's distant from us, like he's not even nowhere close to us, and we are here, we are there, we are trying to call on him, we are praying the way we know how to, and it seems as if we can't even hear him, or we can't even hear what is he actually talking, is he saying anything, is he really even answering us, and all. So what happens in that period? Because we all face it, even non-believers face it. The only difference is in our own, when believers face it, we believe that God is silent, or God, something is going on and God isn't speaking, or God isn't answering or something. But for a non-believer, he just believes his life. That's what happens in life, and things happen, things go, and all that. So it's that time, if I do well, or if I work harder, if I do this or do that, things will get better and all that. So in that period of like a period of desolation, or like that period where we feel alone, where we feel God is not there, or where we feel that he's so far away from us, or he's distant from us, what are the things that happen in that period in our life, or what are the things that we could actually be able to focus on those period of our lives? So that's what I want to talk about here today, and I really hope that I'm able to say some few points, because like always, I don't want my videos to be more than 10 minutes for now. So what happened, and before I go to what happened, or the things we can really learn from those period when it happens to us, I think I want to first of all go for some illustrations in the scriptures. We can experience in the true scriptures, we can find time where it was as though in Abraham's life, for example, where it was as though God was silent in his life. I think around about 13 years of his life, where it was as though God wasn't speaking, or so like things weren't working for him. Let's not even talking about the time, how many years he had to wait to have a kid. Let's not talk about that. Or we can also talk about another example in the scripture where it was Job's scenario. Job's scenario is something that even everybody tries to really illustrate, or everybody tries to talk about. Why? Because it's a scenario of when an enemy comes and says, okay, God says, for example, in fact, it was like, I was proud. God was bragging about Job, like, have you seen my son? Like, have you seen him? Is this, is that, is this and that? And the enemy was like, no, he's not really that. It's because you've given him everything. That is why he's doing that. So if you take those things away from him, let's see if he's still going to keep up. And the truth is, people will be like, is it that okay, why we got be listening to what the enemy is saying? Or is it that he really wanted to test Job or something? But in my own deep thought and deep learning, and a friend of mine will say, he says that God did that to show the enemy that this my son is not just with me because he has everything that he has. He is with me because we have been able to build a relationship together. We have been able to commune together. We're able to come to an acknowledgement of each other. We've been able to understand our importance in each other's life. We are able to value ourselves to each other. He was trying to make the enemy understand that no, you might not see the intent, or you might not see what is inside this relationship that I am Job have, but I just want to prove to you that my son, this my child, this Job of mine is with me for the right reasons. And the truth is, sometimes people will be like, why would God do that? Why would God do that? Why would God allow such things and the rest? But something we I think we forget most of the times is that we were created in God's image and likeness. So some of the things that we do are kind of like God's characteristics. That's how I see it, anyways. So we're created in His image, we're created in His likeness. So we just don't spawn up some things that we do, or some activities that we do, or some thoughts that come to our head or something. It was from somewhere, it was from an image, it was from a likeness that we were built upon. It didn't just come right there. You get what I'm saying? So he was trying to prove to the enemy that no, this my son is with me for the right reasons. We have formed a relationship, we have formed a bond, we have formed a common one. So he's not with me because he just wants to, because I've given him everything. And what happens? Everything was taken away from Job. And the Job for? No, he didn't. And I wonder if the enemy tried going back and saying, wow, this your son is really, and all that. So these are times, or let's talk about the New Testament now. Let's talk about Jesus, or when Jesus was at the cross, after he was aware he was sent for a purpose, he knew his purpose, but it didn't stop him from feeling that time of aloneness. And at the cross, what did he say? Ella, Ella, lama sabachthani, like, why have you forsaken me? Like, why have you forsaken me? It got to a point in his life, or it got to a point in that journey, that his journey through life, where he experienced that same desolation, where he experienced that same loneliness, and he felt it was all alone, and he had to cry out to God and say, why have you forsaken me? So I want to say that to all believers, to all Christians, even all through the scriptures, if we look at the apostles, we look at the people that we really look up to, or the people that we study all through the scriptures, their life or the things that they do, we realize that it was not all just smooth all through their life. Christianity is not a promise of good life in terms of earthly acknowledgement. It's not a promise of things just working out well every day, every time, every hour. No, that is not what Christianity's promises is. Christianity is a promise that it's just going to be straight up. Everything you do will just be straight up. Yeah, things will be good all the way. No, there wasn't really any promise of that. Like, if we even look at the scriptures, especially the New Testament, we'll notice that most of the people that really followed God through Jesus, most of them died in martyr. Most of them had hard times. Really, why? Because they were pursuing something. They were spreading the gospel. They believe in what they were doing, and today they are martyrs to us. Today we live on based on their experience. We watch their life and we use it to mediate our life in our life struggles and all. So maybe I'm going to write on this video in my next video, like if we still and all that. But one key point I want us to note in this period, when it seems as if God is silent, or when it seems as if he's just far away, one key thing I want us to know is that these are times that God is actually building some characteristic traits in our lives. These are times where our patience increases, our faith increases, our perseverance increases. If all is good for you and everything is just good, this character, these virtues, these attributes that we need as believers, we can't really develop them, we can't really grow them. If Abraham, for example, had son or had a child from the beginning of his marriage, there won't be that faith trial where he believed that God has promised him a son, and God will definitely give him that son. Or when things are just all right, or things are just all good with us, we won't have that period to really exercise our patience to reality, our patience or our compassion or our emotions. Or if we are not at that point, sometimes where we happen to be in that lowness of our lives, we will not be able to understand another person's perspective. So I will do it right on this video, but this is just the key point. I want us to know that sometimes when God is silent, or when God goes dark, when He looks as if He's not really in our life, actually He's right there. He's just trying to help you grow some things. He's just trying to help you improve in some things. He's just trying to help you become more aware of some things, of some pattern, maybe some pattern in your life that needs to change, or maybe your virtues in your life that needs to be improved, or some things that needs to be developed to be a good follower of Christ, or to be an awesome believer. This is not just about being a believer. This is for us as individuals, as humans, as persons with values and all that. Sometimes it looks as if things aren't going well, or things aren't going our path, but this is just me saying sometimes this period are really moments where we grow things really great in our life. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Just hit the subscribe button right here underneath here. Thank you so much. Bye.